start first, and I would like to know, acting president, 1 month from this success of the January 3rd against the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, what is your opinion? Firstly, a greeting to all of Venezuela, to all of our people. A month from today, in those early hours, very close to 2 in the morning, when the Venezuelan people suffered an attack, an armed attack from the outside of a nuclear world power. And in these 30 days, we have said that Venezuela has matured what has been the impact of an aggression on the part of the United States, and is now in tranquility and in taking care more than ever peace. The extremism that was looking the next day and in the hours after, they were looking for chaos in Venezuela and to alter the tranquility of Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. With a great maturity and with a great conscience, they reinstated themselves from this attack and has given important steps in the direction of the national encounter. If there is something that has united Venezuelans, it's been the reaction to this type of aggression. If there is something that has united Venezuelans, because we know it, and it is what the Venezuelan people say, is that the differences, that the controversies, that the divergences with the government of the US must be done in a diplomatic way, full political dialogue and diplomatic bilateral dialogue as well. You know that in these days I have sustained conversations through the phone with the President Donald Trump, with the Secretary of State Marcos Rubio, and that must be the path, the way of respect to legality, to international legality, the respect between the peoples, and to know that we can build an agenda, a work agenda from our differences. But historically, there's many bonds and links between the United States and Venezuela from the beginnings of our diplomatic relationships and our international relationships. Yesterday, for example, it was the anniversary in 1805 when our great Francisco Miranda left New York in the Leander with the Venezuelan flag, the first flag of Venezuela. And from there, our relationships have had ups and downs. In the first hours, I said it, this attack constitutes a stain in our relationships, and we have to work with effort. We have to work with respect to overcome our differences. Today, we have seen a great march in support of the freedom of the President Nicolas Maduro and of the first combatant that were kidnapped in that early hour of January 3rd. And we have seen it immediately. The institutionality in Venezuela acted, and it was activated, and there was pronunciations from the Supreme Court of Justice where it dictated the acting presidency that came, in this case, in my person, because of being the vice president of President Nicolas Maduro. And from there, we have been building spaces for meeting the program of democratic coexistence and for peace. Also, a political dialogue has been activated, carried by the President of the National Assembly, Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, and also activated the Commission of the Revolution for the System of Justice in Venezuela. We have presented to the judicial power a proposal of activating a law of amnesty that allows all of this period of political violence, of the extremism, that allows to carry forward a national policy. Politics in Venezuela must be nationalized between Venezuelan men and women, and it must be with a capital letter. We know that there's very few Venezuelans that clapped the military aggression against Venezuela. Very few Venezuelans and they did from a very. They don't understand the Venezuelan people. They don't do the correct reading to what the Venezuelan people want. What they want is to preserve their sovereignty, their independence, their process of national independence, and in honor to our liberators, to take care of the national independence, and especially to take care of the peace and the tranquility for the children in Venezuela that lived during those early hours of January 3rd. They suffered hearing the explosions, and for that to never happen again. So, extremism in Venezuela has been completely isolated from the national life, and we have given it an opportunity, but we have also been very clear for it to be understood that there must be respect for the laws of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela's law. There must be respect to the jurisdiction and the exercise of the jurisdiction of Venezuela, and welcome the differences, the divergences, both in our country and also with other countries. We these days also had conversations with chiefs of state and chiefs of government of other countries, and it is the path, the Bolivarian diplomacy of peace, the inheritance of our father liberator Simon Bolivar, with its universal thoughts in the matter of human rights, in the matter of public management. From the speech of Angostura, what does public management to do if not the equality between Venezuelan men and women, the social justice, social equity, and well, from the Bolivarian diplomacy of peace to rebuild paths with other countries? Today, we received the credential letters of Qatar, of Italy, of Nicaragua. Here we had the ambassadors who presented their credential letters signed by their chiefs of states to the acting president of Venezuela, and then we talked what agendas that we can build for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. That is what we look for, the benefit of Venezuela, of our people, the happiness of our people, and that is a path we are working on. Yesterday we had in this palace also we received the representative of the government of the US, and we had a conversation, an honest conversation, and always say the respect doesn't take anything from anyone. Courtesy doesn't take anything from anyone, it adds. And I believe that is what we are proving to the world and to the international relationships as it must be done. Acting President, we would also like to know, how is the country in these moments? What have you been able to observe in the streets of the national territory, and also that mobilization of the people on the streets, your message to the Venezuelan population? Look, the country is in calm, the country is tranquil, but it has asking of the freedom of the President Nicolas Maduro and the First Deputy Cilia Flores. It is a great victory of the Venezuelan people. Few days from the aggression, we had a lunch with ambassadors of the European Union, both the Minister Delcy and the President of the National Assembly, Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, and they manifested that it was very impactful the way that Venezuela, a few days from that election, was in tranquility, was in calm. Venezuela is working, Venezuela is looking for its own path, for the economical development, for the social happiness, well, looking to build a future of hope for our children and for our youth. But today we saw it, a great manifestation in support to our president and the first combatant. And to end, President, we would like to know, we have been working from the Venezuelan Parliament in important organic laws for the country, like the organic law of hydrocarbons. You had also talked on a law of amnesty. To know a little bit more what has been worked with Dr. Jorge Rodriguez. Very important. We said on the day that I had to subscribe the reform to the organic law of hydrocarbons. There were we incorporated models of management that were successful that we have been applying with the anti-blockade law. There were models that were completely approved by the President Nicolas Maduro. From April 2024, we had been trying those models in the framework of a criminal blockade against Venezuela, economical, commercial, financial blockade, and from there we did a reform that has allowed us to integrate international practices to be able to develop what is called the green fields, which are virgin fields where there's never been development or infrastructure or exploration or exploitation or production, and there are fields that required investment, bigger investments, and they also require time to be able to be recovered. They require judicial security, which is being given today by this organic law of hydrocarbons. But on the other side, the symbols that it has been a law approved unanimously by the new National Assembly, where the voices, the diverse and plural voices of the political dialogue in Venezuela is expressed. The Venezuelan Parliament voted unanimously. It is the Venezuelan Union in national cohesion looks the development and the happiness of the Venezuelan people. We have also, when we received the directive board, the new directive board of the National Assembly, we proposed other laws, among them the mining law that we're going to soon present it to the National Assembly, and of course working intensively with the law of amnesty that will also reach the legislative power for its consideration. What are we looking for? That the Venezuelan Parliament and the legislative power and the national executive, their powers, they're different powers, but that we can join ourselves for the development and the happiness of Venezuela, and for the sovereignty of Venezuela and the independence of Venezuela, where all of the public powers to be activated in all of those big versions of the Venezuelan Republic. That is our goal, and we hope to count, with no doubt, to continue counting with the support and the cooperation of the deputies of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. It will be laws that were conceived to favor our country and our people. Acting President, your message to the Venezuelan population, understanding that this is a year of the Admirable Challenge 2026. Well, we expect to continue accompanying our people. Yesterday, we were 27 years from the arrival of the Bolivarian Revolution to the political power. We were in a deployment with the Vice Presidency of Services and Public Works that houses all of the works that allows the transformation number 2, which is the transformation for a human city. We did from a parish of Caracas, and what did we saw there? The popular power consolidated to consolidate for this year 2026 even more the popular power, the organization of the people in all of the instances in all of the national territory. Already on March 8, we will be doing the first consultation, national one, popular one of the project, where the projects decided in assemblies where the citizens, where the neighbors reunite and say, well, here the investment should go to the stairs, to the water, to electricity, to the roofs, to reality, to public lighting, consolidating the popular power as a way of a true expression, a genuine expression of what is the participational democracy, and for us to be able to, this year, 2026, continue the path of the economic growth, and for that economic growth to be translated in the social and economical happiness of our workers. And that is why we said it, the incomes that come from these new ways incorporated to the organic hydrocarbons will be destined to two sovereign funds, one of which for the social protection that allows the increase of the income of the workers, that allows to attend subjects of health, education, housing, and foods, and the sovereign fund to public services and public works as well, where we are going to attend subjects of electricity, of water, of vanity, where the wounds of the economical blockade have had the biggest impact in our country. Rebuild will take time, yes. We have started taking the first steps. The positive news for Venezuela have happened. Venezuela ordered a few days ago its first molecule of gas, the first ship with liquid gas to the world. But that is the path of Venezuela that, thanks to the workers of our country, we can give firm steps and secure steps towards our common objective, which is the happiness of our people, thanks to the statements of the acting President of the Republic of Venezuela, Dr. Delcy Rodriguez, given a balance that has happened in this last month.